Without further ado, I'd love to introduce Nche as well as the GEANCO Foundation. Together with her family, Nche formed the GEANCO Foundation. Motivated by the desire to promote greater fairness and equity in society, Nche leads organizations and teams to deliver engagement solutions that break down barriers to equal access, empower marginalized communities, and dismantle systems of oppression. Established in 2005, the GEANCO Foundation saves and transforms lives in Africa. GEANCO leads complex surgical missions to Nigeria. The nonprofit also runs an innovative program to fight anemia and help poor, vulnerable pregnant women deliver healthy babies. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of all the great work that GEANCO does. So without further ado, I'd love to pass it to Nche Onyema.
Thank you, and Feely, we're so grateful. We're excited to be joining with you and partnering on this event. And we see some familiar faces and new members to hopefully the GEANCO family. So thank you for joining us today. GEANCO, as you said, our mission is to save and transform lives. And we can't do the work that we do on the ground without incredible partners. Now, whether you've done a formal program with us or you cheer us on and come to our events and follow us on social, we count everyone a part of what we call the GEANCO family. GEANCO actually stands for the first letters of each member of my family. So my dad, my sister Abella, who Afam goes, and myself, my mom, many of you are joining tonight. So shout out to the fam. Thanks for supporting. That's a little bit about me and a little bit about GEANCO. We know where everyone's tuning in from. While we kick off this conversation on partnership, a little icebreaker, can you drop in the chat, our audience, what is your favorite pairing partnership? So it can be Beyonce, Jay-Z, peanut butter jelly, pen and paper, take it where you want to go. Oh, chocolate and wine, nice. I just saw tacos, it doesn't even need a pairing. Ice cream and fries, that's like a little frosty Wendy's remix there. I got you, girl. Chicago, winter and naps. We'll see you next summer. Blue and yellow, and those just happen to be GEANCO's colors, so we love that. All right, to kick us off, you guys are getting to know a little bit about each other, and awesome, brownies and ice cream. All right, next time you're in town, I'll make a homemade batch. So to jump in, I want to just ground us on what partnership really means. One of the quotes that I've always been guided by and is the North Star, the compass for the impact work that I feel honored to get to do, goes, if you have come here to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. So with that, I'd like to start to introduce these incredible people I'm joined by. We're joined by GEANCO's creative partner, Misfit, a glorious eclectic collection of businesses and social enterprises spread across the globe, including an award-winning animation studio, an investment arm that funds businesses with both checks and marketing expertise, as well as a corporate foundation that supports a collection of philanthropic activities all over the world, from Uganda to India, Cuba to the Philippines. Founder of Misfit, AJ Leon, is joining me. He's also an author, international speaker, conference producer, filmmaker, philanthropist, social investor, not inventor, but maybe, world traveler, an honorary fellow of the Shakespeare's Birthplace Trust, and a champagne enthusiast. You can see why in many circles he's known as the Dos Equis man. So AJ, you don't have to do it in iambic, yeah, I got you on that one. You don't have to do it in iambic pentameter, but can you briefly tell us a little bit about how you founded Misfit and built this global ecosystem of award-winning enterprises?
Yeah, first, that was the best intro ever. I really appreciate
I will hype
that.
you when you just go to Starbucks. You got it.
Dude, and secondly, I just got to say, like, it's really cool, like, just to see all you guys' faces so many times and like the energy of this call, because so many times you go on these things and you're speaking into the fucking void and you don't actually see anybody in their smile. You know what I'm saying? So actually to see all the tiles and see everybody's faces and activity, it's really nice. I'm based in London right now. So the reason why it's dark around here is it's almost midnight. I'm really happy to be with you guys. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about Misfit and how I got started. Funny hearing that intro and like where we're at today, because 12 years ago, I was living in a car. I mean, Misfit began, and I think the story is important. It's part of my own personal story, but a lot of people on this call, you've dedicated your one and only lives to changing the world in some way, to doing really cool things at a young age and like making your one life matter. That wasn't me. When I was young, I studied accounting and finance. As the son of two immigrants, I was like, oh, how can I how can I be successful? I gotta make as much money as humanly possible and bury all my detractors in it. And I lived this entire life where I was building a career on Wall Street back in 2007. This is right, the Wolf of Wall Street days, and being incredibly successful, killing it in this domain. But the only problem was I was living some other guy's life. And Misfit began by me evacuating a life plan gone horribly wrong. So back in 2007, this was 4 days before my wedding, right before I was about to land this massive promotion. I was handed the promotion by my boss. This would have put me in a bright. This was my Faustian deal. I'd never be able to walk away from this again. And I realized they're crying in my office with this thing in front of me that if I didn't walk away right then and there, I was going to be that guy for the rest of my fucking life. So I grabbed the box, I put my shit in a box. I had no plan B. I walked out the door, and I promised myself when I hit the street in New York, I promised myself that from that day forward, I was going to live my life on my terms, and I was going to be 1000% flamboyantly me. And part of that was building a company that had a purpose and a mission and a sense of adventure to it. So fast forward, I'm not going to go through all the fucking 12 years of details, nor do you guys want that. But fast forward 12 years later, as Nche mentioned, Misfit has multiple, we have 3 creative agencies, many of which work with nonprofit partners. We've got an entire philanthropic mission where about 2/3 of our work in any domain that we operate in is commercial. By that, I mean it's profit orienting, to fund 1/3 of the work within that company, which is completely pro bono, where we work with partners across the world that are change makers, and we just come behind them and see how we can make a difference. So sorry for the long intro, but that's I don't have an elevator pitch.
That was an incredible TED Talk. Yes, it was. And if you guys are hyped up now, just wait. We're just getting started. Thank you, AJ. We have another Misfit with us, Jessie, a week at Misfit. She serves as the head of strategy. So you have this amazing, great, brilliant mind like AJ. You've got to have that strat right next to it. She's the head of strategy and performance at the marketing agency, a producer at Misfit Animation, and leads all the corporate philanthropic programs at the foundation that AJ was talking about. She's also a principal at Misfit Ventures and overseeing an eclectic, and it is an investment portfolio. So Jessie, when we're not hiking to the top of mountains and big hills and wild swimming and crazy weather, traveling this big wide world and dancing to live music, what does your work with Misfit look like? And what inspired you to join the crew?
First of all, I just have to say that the pairings that are in that chat are next level. That I know we're dealing with some absolutely brilliant people because of all of those things. I was just like, yep, all of those things, brilliant. So my work at Misfit is very eclectic. You just heard AJ speak, and Misfit's kind of this family business of lots of different things that are based on his vision. So I wear many hats, as we've just heard. So the marketing agency, I lead on developing strategies for our clients around marketing. We basically act as a fractional marketing department for mid-stage Silicon Valley enterprise tech companies. So my day job is to essentially dance between disparate industries, acting as kind of the director of marketing on these early stage companies.
Like in my first year,
at the film studio, I act as a producer, so making sure all the projects continue to stay on the rails, making sure everyone has what they need for our wonderful animation projects to be successful. Much like I acted in our collaboration with GEANCO. Pretty good with storytelling and narrative, so I'm usually heavily involved in the editing process. I'm pretty ruthless about what ends up on the cutting room floor. And then on the corporate foundation side, I lead all of those efforts. So all of our direct giving partnerships are managed by myself. That's my day job. There's a lot I could go on, but I'm going to shut up now because I've been speaking for a long time.
Between AJ's energy and just story and your accent and just powerhouse, we could keep going. But I have 2 more incredible people on this panel. So I'm really excited to introduce Megan. She's the previous co-founder and VP of Business Development of Real Her Makeup. We're shifting and we have it all in this panel, and it's going to make sense. Megan is a mom trying to do the most. She has spent the last 22 years dedicated to the beauty industry. And in her last role as co-founder of Real Her Makeup, she successfully launched that brand through many channels of distribution, including the Home Shopping Network, Macy's.com, Neiman Marcus, Target, Kohl's, and as far as the Middle East, Australia, and UK. Megan is determined to get her message of empowerment around the globe. So Megan, we're going to get into our partnership with GEANCO shortly, but first, can you tell me a little bit about your passion for the beauty industry and how you turned that into the successful career that you lead?
Yeah, thank you, Nche. Dating myself, going back to college in the year of 2001, I started at a beauty counter slinging lipstick, and I loved getting women in my chair. I loved seeing their countenance transform after just applying some cosmetics or skincare that felt great on their skin, and handing them the mirror. And at the end of our session together, them falling in love with themselves or being so appreciative of the tips and the know-how that they can leave my chair now and do it themselves. To me, at that moment was like, this is my purpose. This is what I want to do. My parents weren't that excited because they sent me away to school for music from California to Ohio. But when I was there, I think for me, that was what touched me and told me like, this is what I have to do. I've got to help women. I've got to help transform lives. So from there, it was always a smaller scale. It was always, working with women in my chair, then to working with teams, leading teams, encouraging them, motivating them. A lot of people that have worked with me over the years, I've brought them from company to company because I love seeing them grow in their positions as well. But eventually, when I was given the opportunity to work with Real Her, with a gentleman that started the brand as well, it was a win-win situation. I had just had my daughter. The year was 2016, 17. We had a change in our administration here in the US. And for me, I was very, very obsessed with wanting to change the world and doing something to help leave a legacy for my daughter. I wanted to make her proud of me. And I knew that it was much bigger than myself this time, much bigger than just doing, makeup in a chair. I wanted to do something globally. So started work with Real Her and was able to come on as a co-founder, help basically rebrand the brand and then take it to different channels of distribution and work with many different teams there, do product development, work with different affiliates, influencers. So it was truly a remarkable experience. And during my time there, I was able to meet a FOM and some from the GEANCO team and be able to set up a program there. I don't know if you want to go into that yet, Nche, but
we'll keep them on bated breath for that one. Yes, we're excited. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of our guests. Last but not least, we have one of the original GEANCO family members, Megan Nche, a Nigerian American actor, writer, singer, and dancer. And yes, she does do those all equally well. Raised by a single mother on the Navajo reservation until she got her start in the industry at 14, she's best known for various roles in television, film, and theater. So can I just say, we've got a certified celeb on our panel here joining us and a dear friend. So Megan, can you share some of those projects you've done in the past that our audience may recognize? And then tell us just a little bit more about how you got started in the industry. How do a cowgirl, an Igbo Nigerian, and a Navajo reservation make an actor?
I wonder the same thing, Nche. I don't know how it happened. But sometimes in life, like AJ, like you think one thing is going to happen and then something else happens. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Nche. Very happy to be here, to be part of the GEANCO family. I don't know why I'm here with all of these badass business panelists. I guess I'm like the artist person on this panel, which I'm always happy to be. Yeah, so I got my start. So yeah, I grew up on the Navajo reservation in northeastern Arizona because my mom was a nurse for the Indian Health Service. And yes, my dad is Igbo, like the GEANCO family, but he died when I was really young. So that's why I was raised by my single mother, because my dad died and then she became a nurse. And then because she had a degree in anthropology and was always interested in Native American culture, she was like, I'm going to raise my kids on the res, and my 3 little Black Nigerian kids on the res. It was very interesting. And then my name sounds like it could be Native American. So it makes my life difficult, but it's not boring. So there you go. And I always was trying, on the reservation, like the education system is like, it's basic. Like I went to basic public school. It's not a lot of arts programming. So any arts programming that was available, I would just like suck it up. And one summer I was in band, first chair saxophone, And my teacher had a poster of this fine arts academy on his wall, and it was like really fancy, and no way that I would be able to, my family could afford to send me there, but I applied for a scholarship and I got it. And then I went to theater camp for 3 weeks, and the guy who was my manager for the next 15 years was in the audience of theater camp. That's how it all started. So then I became a professional actor, and I guess I was about like 14 years old. So I went on to do projects like Night School with Kevin Hart. I guess that was something that was sort of bigger that I did recently. I did my first play on Broadway 2 years ago called Apologia, with Stockard Channing. And so I hope to do a lot more of that. I've done lots of different television. I was in 24. I was in That 70 Show. Lots of things. So yeah, and so here I am. And I had the opportunity to meet Afam and Dr. Onyema years ago at an African First Ladies Summit, where all like 50 different, was it 50 of them? Like 50 different African First Ladies all descended at the Skirball Center in LA to talk about all the work that they were doing in their respective countries. And I was like so excited to be there. And I got sat at a table with the Onyemas. And then they told me about GEANCO. And I was like, well, obviously I have to be a part of that. I was just so taken with, well, Dr. Onyema, I love him so much. Just their sweetness and kindness, and I could just tell that they were so dedicated to this work, and it was such a tiny organization at that point, and I just knew that I would be a part of it for years to come, and here we are. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Magdalene. And you are being modest about your talents. I think that's one of our family's favorite things to do is go to the theater to see your productions, and we're just like, yeah, we'll just hear from Magdalene. And Kevin Hart is a supporting actor.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's what they don't realize. If you're familiar with GEANCO, you may have seen some of our partnerships with other celebrities. And Magdalene really, not only is she an early GEANCO supporter when we were small, we honestly founded this as a family. I was still an undergrad, Afam was going into law school, and those were the opportunities. We went to this conference. Like she said, it was, if you think of like Michelle Obama of every single country or state, in at the continent was at this, and we had Magdalene at our table, and it just really started from there. So I know people always ask, like, how did you get so and so? And it's not a get; it's just we became friends.
And Afam, was always so great at like connecting people and telling the story and the journey of GEANCO. I remember one of the first fundraisers I went to, and you gave your speech that you give, and I was like in tears. I was like, I didn't get my checkbook. Just take it all here. Great. So I'm not surprised that you have all these illustrious, fabulous collaborators working with you.
Magdalene, I'm gonna stick with you because I also know that you're petitioning to add an M to GEANCO. I don't know how many signatures you've gotten yet. It's been over a decade now of this adding the M to GEANCO for Magdalene. But
hoping that all of you guys to sign, because GEANCO.
Yeah. Okay, you have not proposed what it would actually, where we would add it. So
let's bring to it.
Okay. I want to stick with you. So you have shown up. It isn't just that, we see you on the red carpet and we support your shows. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects you've done? I know we love seeing you at our gala every year, and there's been some independent partnerships that we've done with you.
Yeah.
Or just some projects you've helped launch or jumped in and said yes to.
Yeah, well, one really cool thing that I really had very little to do with, but it's part of what supporting an organization like GEANCO is I used to date Chris Rock, and he was hosting the Oscars, and Afam came to me with this brilliant proposal, and I just passed it on. And it was like a no-brainer, and it became a really great fundraising source for GEANCO for many years, and still is, right?
It is. It is. Thank you. Yes.
All the great work you do, and how well you are able to connect people and keep the momentum alive. I think you've raised like a lot of money just by having this partnership with the Oscars every year, and I'm so excited that happened. And I feel like that was, and hopefully it'll last for many more years and turn into many other things.
Yeah. It's an incredible partnership, Megalyn. I mean, it started off with that. I believe it was Charity Bus was the platform, raised an incredible amount, and has been a template for how we do these celebrity experiences. And just to highlight what that experience is we got exclusive access to just bring a winner to watch the Oscars rehearsal, which is extremely closed doors, very private. We're the only charity partner that the Oscars partners with, and we've been able to do it through no host, all of the ups and downs. And Jimmy Kimmel even extended an invite for our guests to be able to go to the after party. And not only did we have these experiences that raised a lot of money, we're close friends with the people that won. There's a couple from Canada that, I mean, it just has spawned so much. And a lot of times people think when they see the pictures that that's all we do. It's probably the 0.1% of the nonprofit work is that red carpet experience, but there's so much power to it. And, thank you for it. And that's like an example to our audience. It's what space do I occupy? Who do I know? And like she said, she just passed it on, but it was more than that. And so I think those are really great examples. Sometimes we think we have to have an elaborate project and partnership, and it just starts small. I'm going to ask you one more question and go on to our other panelists and the other project we worked on with the pandemic. GEANCO launched incredible initiatives for COVID-19 relief in Nigeria. For us, it wasn't a moment to slow down or stop. It was, we will make sure that the people in that community and the people we serve have health and adequate health and protection and everything they need. We've been able to do PPE equipment. We've done training for safe deliveries and launched 2 really big programs on making sure children who were on lockdown and in the village, no access to Wi-Fi, no cell phones, had access to tablets and kept their learning going. That program still goes on. We have tablets throughout Nigeria, and a project that we're extremely proud of is launching these maternal mobile clinics. I won't get into that because that would be a whole panel on its own. So I encourage you to check out our website and learn a little bit more about this work. But one of the fundraisers we did at the top of the pandemic was this Yahoo Stories podcast. It's stories spelled, the I and the E is replaced with 14. And it's available anywhere podcasts, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcast. And it's these short, amazing stories. Yahoo launched this contest for people who are stuck at home to write these really great children's stories. And then the ones that were winners and selected got to have them narrated by 14 of our GEANCO celebrities, and Megalyn lent her voice to that. So we've dropped in the chat, you can see the promo for that and learn a little bit more about that initiative. But thank you again, another creative way to partner that isn't so obvious, it's not transactional, but we had this opportunity to partner with Yahoo and do these stories and just bring levity and light during the pandemic, but it also provided direct aid for our COVID relief initiatives.
Yeah, and it was also a really brilliant way to partner with artists, because I was able to do what I do best and still have an impact and help raise funding and help spread awareness about what you guys do. So another testament to you guys' brilliant ideas, and really your ability you guys are really great storytellers, and your ability to tell the story of GEANCO and really get people to want to get involved is, I think, a huge part of the success.
Thank you, Megalyn. Yes. So we did another exciting project with Megan, and this is something we hadn't done before and moving into new ground. And it was in connection with our David Oyelowo Leadership Scholarship for Girls. So GEANCO does programs on both the health and education side. Through the scholarship, GEANCO, we provide full tuition, medical care, professional psychological trauma support to young female victims of gender inequity and terrorism. So Megan, that's kind of where our partnership and work came in. Before we get into the artwork and that project, Scholarship Girls, can you tell us first more about your relationship with your daughter? I know how special that is for you and how it's influenced your work. I'm proudly wearing Real Her lipstick.
Awesome. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. It's shade name Boss. And all of their shades have these incredible, empowering names. I love it. This isn't SpawnCon, but it does go on very smooth and stay. So thank you. Can you just give us the scoop? Tell us about your daughter, and then just give us the scoop. Where does one even begin to create a cruelty-free makeup line that empowers and then finds itself on shelves like target in retailing on networks like HSN, which I know is the coup de grace in retail?
Well, my little girl, she's 5 years old. Her name is Faven Malone. My husband is from Eritrea, Africa. So she is a biracial little girl. And that's why, to me, GEANCO kind of pulls on my heartstrings, just knowing that I'm a part of something that's not that side of the world. And my husband's an immigrant. So when he came here, he was given an opportunity. So my heart is very much for those seeking refuge here in the United States, as well as, doing what we can for others overseas. So like I said, when I had a little girl, or I knew I was having a little girl, my life changed. And I was the person that didn't want children. Me and my husband were very set. Like our lives are still very separate, our careers, what we do, our travel. And then it was like, oh my God, we're pregnant. And I thought, how am I going to do this? My life is over. Like, no more bars, no more. So then once we had her, it's like, and I'm sure anybody else that's listening today, when you have a child, they change your life. And that selfishness completely, for me, it left my body. And it was like, what can I do for her? And so we have a very close relationship, and also my husband with her as well. And she is truly the heart of everything I do, every decision that I make. How is it going to affect her future and her generation? So it just basically instilled in me even more of a passion to want to do more. And so I think that's why she became my gift, and why she was, given to me, was to be that inspiration for me to do more, because I don't know that I would have really sought after my purpose in such a way prior to her being here. With Real Her, me and the other founder, we both have young girls. So understanding, me especially, growing up and being a woman, and those adolescent years are very rough. You cannot pay me to be 13 again. And being able to have something in the market that was positive, rather than, and I don't want to say the name of the brand, but there's makeup out there called like Orgasm or Deep Throat or Redheaded Slut. Like personally, I want my daughter, when she starts wearing makeup, I want her to reach for something that's going to empower her, that's going to tell her she's beautiful, that she can succeed, that she can conquer the world. That's truly my desire for her, and women or men too, everywhere, is that they're encouraged throughout the day. And that's how it came about, to put an affirmation instead of the shade of a lipstick named like Red Hot or Posy Pink, do something that was actually going to inspire somebody throughout the day. So when you take your lipstick out of your purse and you're ready to go in the courtroom, or you're ready to go back inside and teach, you've got something to kind of, lift your spirits. And it works, honestly. Like, I'm big on affirmations. I do affirmations with my daughter every night before we go to bed. I am beautiful. I am strong. I'm smart. I'm healthy. It's so important that us individuals and women, like that, we are constantly speaking positivity over ourselves, over our lives, our health. So if we have an opportunity to put things on products as gentle, just like little reminders throughout the day. We get enough negativity. We have enough opportunities to be on social media, to see what other influencers are doing or celebrities are doing. I can look at the Kardashians all day and then wind up, wanting to hate myself. But instead, I'm going to choose those things that are unique about me and that make me special. So we're really about celebrating individuality and everyone's beauty. So that's how that came about, was to have different affirmations on every single product, and really have our children be the heart of the brand. And what inspired us, and his background was manufacturing in the business, and my background was education, sales. I was a national sales manager for a French company in the US prior. So just being able to spread the message, and then really getting out there and introducing the brand at trade shows, and just being positive and having fun with it, and doing what we can to get our message across to people everywhere. So that is a little bit of our journey.
Incredible.
Thank you.
So yes, incredible mic drop moment on that, and just absolute the ethos. And what I want to just pull out, the values that you were talking about, the empowerment of self, that all existed. When you came to us, it wasn't a training camp of like, okay, how can we make sure makeup isn't just about trying to live up to unrealistic beauty standards. And I think there's a shift in messaging on the beauty industry being something where you can feel like your best true self on the outside, whether that's more natural or full on glam, however you identify, that it's a tool where it should be inclusive and empowering. And it's, and like you said, even just, I know we were kind of laughing at the names, but it's true. We weren't questioning that before. It was sexy marketing and advertising. And I encourage you to check out their website and just follow Megan on what she's doing. There's what she does as a brand is what she does as a person. So when we came together to launch this artwork project, our girls, we weren't doing an art program. She wasn't intrusive saying, I want to go to Nigeria and teach your scholarship girls how to make some art. She was like, we have this platform. I'd love to be able to contribute to GEANCO, and more than just a portion of proceeds. If we have art that your girls feel their identity and their culture and their empowerment, we can digitize it. Anyone can go on for as little as $2 or as much as you want to donate, can download them and put it on bags, print them. Obviously, I have my own. I have all the downloads. This is one I had professionally framed, super easy to do. And this was, I mean, they're professional level. This is one of my favorite pieces. And this is their first time doing this art. And they got to just speak of hope and strength in their country and culture with, like you said, those affirmations. So I can keep going. The one that I have is called African Lady Going to a Wedding. And our artist, her message was that what inspired me to make this picture was to bring the three main cultures of Nigeria in one. So I made an Igbo girl putting on a Yoruba cloth, Hausa beads, and headdress. And I think even if you're not Nigerian, wherever you're based, especially in this time, can understand having cultural identity, but also unity at the same time. So I can quote them, but I think it's best left in their own words. Let's play a clip of one of the girls and explaining her artwork.
Hello everyone, my name is David Mata and I'm in Just 2 Progress. The name of my artwork is The Beauty of an African Lady. And with this painting, I'm trying to portray that you don't really have to be fair to be beautiful, because many people think fair people are the ones who are more beautiful. But with my painting, I'm trying to show that you don't really have to be fair to be beautiful. Blacks are also beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was just one of the clips. I know I see AJ grinning, and they're each that special and incredible. So you can bring, I feel like now I'm on HSN, you can bring home this painting, but you can bring this story to you. And I know when we first launched it internally, people were like, can I get the actual painting? And this is just a way for everyone to have access and empower that. We're excited to keep building on it. Megan, do you have any final reflections on just that partnership in Reeler's role?
I think it's just so unique. To me, it really showed me that we could do so many different things, that working with partners and nonprofits, it's not about, okay, we just go and do this and we put on this performance and we write a check. It's like we were a small startup, and it's just finding that space, using your platform, being creative, and figuring out how you can partner together. And I think that really worked for the brand and for GEANCO. And I know it's an ongoing production or an ongoing project that they'll continue, but I'm really excited about it. And I think it's beautiful, and it warms my heart to see those videos of those girls. And there's more too. If you go onto the site, you'll see more of the story, and I don't know, it's very endearing. So I've downloaded them all too, printed them as well. So it definitely touches your life.
Thank you, Megan. I just want to share a quote that I found from you, that this is from you, saying, beauty is really honing in on what's unique about you. And that always starts on the inside. It's how you treat people, it's your smile, it's how you encourage others, and then it goes outward from there. For me, it's about enhancing your natural beauty. And I feel like I'm enough, even if I don't have my makeup on. It's okay. It's being able to embrace and accept truly who you are. So thank you, Megan. So rounding out some of these examples, and then we're going to just open it up popcorn style with our panelists. I'm going to jump right in with Misfit, AJ, and Jesse. We partnered with you most recently, also during the pandemic. In-person events are so crucial to how we engage with our GEANCO community. We don't do the boring chicken dinners. It's really, we're going back in person in LA next month, and we're calling it the reunion. It's how we get to connect with the work and just the spirit in there. So when we knew we had to pivot from in person and go virtual, it was important, one, to have a high, incredible standard. I know everyone has probably gotten an invite to a virtual gala and was like, ugh. And as the project lead, I am not biased in saying ours is absolutely award show style quality. And it's a huge part because of Misfit. And as someone that straddles doing the social impact work in the program side, but also then how do we translate the work that we do and tell that story? It takes an amazing partner and storyteller to execute it. And it was an insane delight getting to work with you. I mean, from talking about sans serifs and Pantones, but also just how we built the story around GEANCO's work. I'm going to jump in. We're going to play another clip, and just so you guys can get context, this is a small fraction of what a piece of the virtual gala. It's on our website on the homepage. I encourage you to check it out. Skip one Netflix episode and check out Unbreakable Joy. Great. So I think we missed a little bit of the sound, and it doesn't even, I'm glad we got to play that, because people are like, what is this misfit? Just a small piece. And all the animation, you're like, I've seen word out, but just the work to have one word just move on that track and form into the logo, and with the music, it's incredible. And Misfit it's their imprint all over it. So, a virtual gala was new for both of us. Jesse, we had a detailed onboarding doc and a vision we were going for. But can you talk us through how your team approached Unbreakable Joy and just working with us for the first time?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, you came with such a level of organization. It was probably the most highly organized and creative team we've ever worked with. So that was a really good start for us. But it really helps when a partner has a really clear vision of what they want to achieve and pull off, but then they also just give you massive reign to go wild with your own creativity. That's the perfect partnership. And our team loves working on projects like this. When they get to just go wild, they're so happy. So we just let all of our creatives and our team, our creatives, our designers, they were artists first. So we train them to be designers. So when they get to work on artwork within a design format, they're just happy as Larry. Sorry, that's a really British phrase. They're chuffed as fuck is basically what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah, that was really great. But then with the team being able to give that level of creativity, your feedback, and specifically yours, Nche's as well, was so clear and direct. And we just established this foundation of kind of communication and honesty and collaboration that sent us, we had a pretty aggressive timeline. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of moving pieces and a lot of team members involved, but that collaboration, that sense of kind of, just openness and honesty and direct feedback and creativity just developed the magic that you saw in the end product. And the fact, you mentioned it earlier, but you guys are a family business, as we're a family business, and that level of, firstly, the level of professionalism within that family business was absolutely so impressive. But also just the kindness. I think it's such an underrated quality when someone just comes to a project with a level of kindness and respect that kind of just lends itself to the success of the project.
Thank you. I mean, I echo all of that. And I remember when we presented our storyboard and you guys came back with our branding and colors, you're like, can we use pink? Would that be okay? And just the freedom to unleash, because I know when you're working on the corporate side, it's a very strict and you can't have that much fun. And it was so exciting to be able, I recommend anyone, especially, visual storytelling is huge for any org, social enterprise, company, nonprofit. It's the number one thing to show the work that you do and have it have a bigger platform. And a lot of times, if you have a pro bono partner, there can be this tentativeness of like, if that's okay with you, or I don't know. And I remember I grew up dancing, and I remember my dance teacher would always, if she would take us to lunch and she's like, okay, what do you want to eat? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, no, that will not get you fed. So you have to have that mutual respect, to have honesty. And it's based on giving clarity, because the difference between working with just a solo graphic designer and an agency is that our project manager is taking all of the feedback, all of the input, and leading an entire team of an animator in one room, someone doing editing in another. So, and there's an incredible partnership, and just It was a great intense time. Like she said, the level of work that we did, I know was even new for you, even the systems and storing that larger file.
Absolutely. Yeah, there were some obstacles to overcome. And unfortunately, Melissa's not on the call, but she led the creativity and she was just mind blowing.
The whole really cool. This team, your team is spread out, because I on a project like this, you do have to do late hours and nights. And what I loved is that even if I was up at 2, there was someone in the Philippines.
Yeah,
there was someone in the US or someone in the UK. So it was like how to add 6 extra hours to a 24-hour a day.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it. But I want to jump in because AJ, the team that we had, it was incredible women. I said this to you offline when we were talking, just the two of us after the gala. And I was like, I just, complimenting your work and saying thank you, but it did not go unnoticed that a lot of our project team was female and badass females. I'll say that. And you can tell they were empowered. Our first call with you, we got to meet AJ, the founder, and he's like, you don't want me in the middle of this. I love what you guys do. We don't need to get anything out of it. We just love doing great projects. And you want to deal with these people, Jesse, Melissa, and Avril, a whole team that worked on this. Can you tell me more? Because a lot of times organizations will say it's important to have women leaders or it's important to have opportunity, but their ethos and the way they're executing doesn't line up with that. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you've established your org?
Yeah, after my dad passed away when I was really, really young, and I was raised by a slightly crazy single Cuban mother and a Cuban grandmother. And I saw female leadership, in my life all throughout. I mean, in a Cuban household, like matriarchy is like very, very strong, So with me, I mean, within Misfit, there is an asymmetric side. Like with probably 80% of the people that are in leadership are women. And, it's just meritocratic. I mean, I don't know like how other organizations have to set themselves up to, try to fulfill certain, to be honest, I don't know. I know that asymmetry because you look at other companies, you're like, God, it's literally a fucking sausage fest when you walk into boardrooms or you walk into these, and it is. And how it indexes for that, I have no fucking idea, because in my world, I've hired people, as you know, I mean, we have people from Vancouver all the way to Manila and everywhere in between. And in my life over the last 15 years, it's been women that have outpaced their male counterparts at almost every turn. And it's not, there's not some special program or anything like that. They're just fucking, they're murdering it. So, yeah.
Well, I know you have it's important too with some of the society issues and the systems that we're operating in, with women being able to go back to work after having kids and return to careers, talented, amazing women. And that's an area too. It's not just, I mean, you empower them and let them go and just step out of the way and let it just
100% flexibility. Yeah, 100% flexibility.
Yeah.
So we work around any any of the women on our team that have children. Like we just create flexible work schedules. I mean, anything around that for sure. That's something that we work towards for sure.
Yeah. And then Jesse, maybe you can talk more on the foundation side. Our partnership was incredible. That's not always the right fit and what makes sense on either side. Sometimes just direct aid, making that donation, supporting work, the experts on the ground, empowering local leaders to do what they do best and know for their community. Can you talk about, because it's not necessarily the pro bono, and I want to explain to the audience how you guys even structure that. The people who worked on our project did not know it was a pro bono project. That's the case for all of your clients. They don't know if it's paid or pro bono. So you're not getting they'll do it on a Saturday or a couple hours or the low quality. They go in giving the same level that they would for a United Airline or Google to a GEANCO and the GEANCO. So can you tell us about also when you have to pivot and it's more just about how do I empower people that are already doing great work in a different way?
Yeah, absolutely. So we tend to, on the philanthropic side of the company, we tend to approach either from the perspective of direct giving or from partnerships, but ideally, both. What we look for in our partners is basically someone who's creative and boundary pushing, and who are willing to go with us like you guys were to create this thing and to ex nihilo, something that wouldn't have been in existence or wouldn't have been in existence in that way into the world. So in your case, you have this idea and for this for this amazing online gala, and we have this skill and expertise in animation and illustration, and to bring that to bear on this idea, to bring that together and do some good in the world is where we kind of look to take our philanthropic work. We do this with other organizations as well. So we're working right now within a government organization, RCAP, and we've done that with an arts organization, I Paint My Mind. We work with Water Aid UK, where we kind of do like brand design and development and marketing advice. But then yes, sometimes we do direct investments, and in that case we work with organizations who have programs on the ground that we really believe in. Usually these are around women's economic empowerment. So one example would be the Uprise Foundation, which is run by just the most badass woman I've ever met, Kandi Agaba, in Uganda. And she created a school timeline, which we fund scholarships for, which is essentially you taking women and girls who didn't get the best start in their lives, but also in their sort of their working life. Either they dropped out of school, they got pregnant early, countless reasons for not being able to kind of support themselves economically. Which, as we all know, like if I couldn't support myself economically as a woman, I'm crushed. It's so important to be able as women to have our own financial independence, especially in a situation like some of these girls are in Uganda. And so she has created this project where it teaches these girls hard skills like jewelry making or hairdressing, and they have partnerships with local businesses where they get guaranteed a job at the end of it. So that's an example of our direct aid work, and how we approach those two sides of the foundation work.
Thanks, Jessie. And that was, I'm sure, and GEANCO's never exclusive, like Megalyn mentioned in the beginning. It really is about those introductions in that ecosystem. When you operate from a scarcity mindset, it doesn't turn into fruition of what you can really achieve in the world. It's about the impact, right? So thank you for sharing those other orgs and the work that you guys do. I highly encourage you. Misfit you can find them all over and doing everything and doing it well. So I encourage you to get to know their stories. We have a whole list of questions that we could popcorn on, but to close us, I'm gonna come back to Megan and Megalyn before we do our final question for all of the panelists. And if you guys have in the chat things that you're like, I really want you to ask this in the last few minutes, we'll probably just do another 5. And since I know we had some people in the waiting room, we'll if you can stay with us, we hope you'll join us. But Megan, tomorrow is Nigerian Independence Day, and a little over a week is Indigenous People Day, which was formerly called something else. Can you tell us what people don't realize is, like, you listed some of the movies and shows that you're in, but that's such a small facet. I think you were kind of like, oh, I've done this, but because who you are as a person and how I don't even like to say activist, and you've said this, how you get angry at what's happening in the world and call it out. Can you leave us with that note? And if you want to learn more about Megalyn's activism, we did a Google Amplify Africa. She did an amazing chat with my sister Abella. Check out can you drop in the chat the name of the media outlet that did this beautiful article on Megalyn, her work with GEANCO, her work in the world. I don't want you guys to sleep on how this woman shows up.
Thanks, Nche. You guys make it really easy to show up, by the way, for all the reasons that I've already stated. And also, you guys inspire me. So I think when it comes to partnerships and activism, it's really like, who's doing the good work, who's telling the stories that need to be told, and do I feel inspired, and am I moved, and am I pissed? And I think, because of my background, because of my life experience, I do think I have like a pretty broad perspective. I've seen a lot, I've traveled a lot, I've been a part of lots of different cultures and always like an outsider in all of these different cultures. So I've always been other, but I can identify in many different ways. And I think that's one of the things that makes me unique, and also is one of the things that enables me to have an impact when I am doing this kind of work, because I have a level of understanding just because of who I am and where I've been. And as a storyteller, it's my job to use that. To use that to my benefit and to use that to help others. So when it comes to Native American issues, I get fucking pissed because I really I'm shocked by the level of ignorance that a lot of people have around those types of things. And because I'm from somewhere else, but have so much insight and perspective on on those issues, I think it's my job to kind of, bridge the gap, and I do when I can. And then I'll also, I am Nigerian, and I do have I have family in Nigeria, and I do have that side of me. But I also am also American. I'm also, mixed race. So all of those things influence what I do. And I'm always looking for opportunities to use that to help others, and to use my storytelling abilities to help tell those stories. So I don't know was that what you were asking?
Yeah, no, exactly. And then in a 15-second plug, we would be remiss. I would not be doing my late night show host duties if I didn't have you share with us what you have going on next. And then same with Megan, if you can, or just tease us what we have on the pike.
Yeah, right now is actually a really exciting time in my career because I'm transitioning into writing and directing. So I'll direct a short film that I wrote in 2 months. I'm really excited about it.
We're really proud of you. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
And Megan, how about you? I know you have some equally bold moves coming up.
Yes, right now I'm taking a little hiatus, much needed break after a very busy 4 years. And there's a lot on the horizon coming, podcast, beauty brand, a lot of exciting things happening. So more to come. And I will continue to partner with GEANCO in whatever way that I can. I'm excited.
I love that. And you have an incredible voice, and I can't wait to hear more of that messaging. And also, as hopefully we can be safe and not have to wear masks, wear more of your beauty products proudly. So get ready. There's going to be a surge, hopefully, by 2022. And I'll do a final question for my audience or my panelists. I want to thank Feely for hosting us. It's such an honor. And thank you for allowing us to bring these are a fraction of the GEANCO partners we get to work with and are honored to call family. And I want to thank my family for supporting us. It's a challenge, but an inspiring, wake up, bursting and excited to do this work, honored to get to do it with my blood family and the GEANCO family. So thank you for having us, Feely. Jacqueline's asking, what would a dream partnership be for GEANCO? Any specific brands or businesses that you would love to work with in the near future? You know what? That is a good question, because we would never have said, we do health and education in Africa. We really need a makeup brand to partner with. So, and even how we work with Megalyn, that's probably a little bit more obvious because of her platform, but that's not where it started. So, and if you have been inspired by the work that we do, it's had I want to really hone in on what my values are and already know that. Bring that to the table. Let's have a conversation and see what's in best service of our community. So sometimes when we were early on, people would be like, oh, I want to, teach a dance class in Nigeria. And it's like, but are you the right person to do that? Can we empower someone locally? What's a different way we can work together? Anything else from the audience before I have everyone close out? You can learn more about GEANCO at GEANCO.org. We're coming back in person. So October, 29th, we'll be in LA for our gala. Yes. So excited for that one. I know Megan is going to be there. We have people on this call that will be there. We are working on coming back to some of our other major cities, Chicago, DC. We'll be launching in Austin in the spring. If you have a community, we can come to you. Oh, we have a new member who likes standing. Oh, and profits go to empowering impactful nonprofit. Exactly. So awesome. Thank you.
If I can jump in, it's called Luxy Beauty.
I love it. Yes, we were just talking about this. And thank you, Kat, for joining us. There'll be some other personal exciting announcements coming up down the road. So I just want to thank you for joining us. And yes, that's exactly what this should spur and inspire. So while people kind of drop their last notes in the chat, we started off getting to know our audience. And I would like to know for you, what makes the perfect pairing or partnership that makes you want to keep coming back? Because that's what makes it sustainable. So the same way you want to keep going into Ben and Jerry's or Netflix and chill, what for each of you makes you want to keep coming back to your partnerships? Partners who give back to the community, inspire me to partner and support them. Exactly. Thanks, Kat. Partners that show and prove impact. All right, you guys already dropped incredible seeds, and hopefully we'll continue to follow you in social, and you'll get to see the work that we continue to do with GEANCO and what they're doing in the world. We support it and stand behind them. Connection and passion. Yes, follow us on social. We're on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook at GEANCO FDN. And hopefully we'll see you in person, virtually, or even over Zoom. If you do want to reach out to us, check out the website. I feel like the NPR host. Check out our website. There is a button that just takes you directly to email us. Thank you again, AJ, Jesse, Megalyn, Megan. Thank you so much. Thank you to our familiar and new faces. Welcome to the GEANCO family. Thank you to the Feely tribe.
Thank you for being host with the most, Nche.
Nche, you killed it.
Thank
Great
you.
job, Nche. Thank you everyone so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you all showing up, and thank you for your donations to support GEANCO. We're really excited to give this donation tonight in support of the amazing work that they do. So we appreciate you all, and thank you for showing up and being here for our community. Wishing everyone an amazing evening.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.